So the NBA draft lottery was earlier today, and that had to have been the most hilarious outcome we could have gotten. This is an absolutely unserious league. Was it rigged? Yeah, probably. But since my team wasn't involved, because they're actually good for the first time in my life, I'm not really that upset. Although if I was like a Jazz fan or a Hornets fan or a Wizards fan, I would probably be pretty depressed right now. So in today's video, we're going to put Cooper Flagg on the Mavericks, and we are going to go through the duration of his rookie contract. We're going to rebuild the team, and we're going to see how they ultimately perform. Now, I understand that every 2K content creator and their mother is probably going to do a Cooper Flagg Mavericks rebuild. So first of all, I appreciate you choosing my video. I could have been different and done like a Dylan Harper Spurs rebuild, but I think it'd be a little boring to just press the simulate button for 15 minutes until that team inevitably wins a championship in like season 2. And I think this Mavericks team is so fascinating because it's not every day you have this elite prospect going to a team with 2 future Hall of Famers. Granted, they're both in their 30s, and they both have a major injury history. Kyrie Irving is going to miss most of next year. I feel like people forget that when they talk about this Mavericks team, and for the sake of realism, we're not going to have him play most of the first season. So we're going to jump in to start today. This was recorded before the 2 playoff games that wrapped up earlier tonight finished. So we're going to simulate through the playoffs. We'll see what 2K has, and then we will go through the offseason. I'm going to edit all the picks after the lottery. Our real-life draft classes here with Cooper Flagg, who we already know is going to end up in Dallas. Interestingly, Ace Bailey is ahead of Dylan Harper in this class based on projection. I'm very curious to see what the Spurs do at number 2. I was fearing for my life that they would get the number 1 pick, even though my team's not even in the same conference. But still, that team with number 2, potentially with the ammo to trade for Giannis, that might be another video idea that we look at in the future. So we're going to get a Timberwolves-Celtics final. Julius Randle won the Western Conference MVP. Boston ends up winning the title. I think Boston was up 3-0, and then the Timberwolves won 3 in a row. Jason Tatum won the Finals MVP. Given the likelihood that he tore his Achilles, unfortunately, that probably will not be happening. Hopefully it's not actually an Achilles tear, but geez, that did not look good. So that'll bring us to the draft lottery. 2K has the Raptors getting the number 1 pick. The Kings jumped into the top 3. Holy hell. Unfortunately for the Raptors and Kings fans out there, I changed the picks. So the Raptors have number 1, the Spurs have number 2. The Sixers at number 3, we haven't even talked about them, but that's also hilarious. People talk about the NBA not wanting to reward these tanking teams like the Hornets and the Jazz when nobody tanked harder than the Sixers did last year. Did you see those lineups they had at the end of the year? And now they end up with the 3rd pick, and their franchise can be salvaged a little bit, probably with Ace Bailey, you would think. So now that brings us into the 2025 NBA draft. We already know what we're going to do at number 1. The Dallas Mavericks will select VJ Edge. No, I'm kidding. We're going to pick Cooper Flagg, obviously, here with this top spot. I guess there is an outside shot that they could theoretically package this pick for Giannis, which if there is any asset, if I was the Bucks that I would want, it probably would be Cooper Flagg, even more than maybe anything the Spurs can offer. Noah Esenye, I hope I said his name right, ended up going number 3. That is certainly a surprise. Ace Bailey at number 4 to the Hornets. Kaman Maluach at number 5 to the Utah Jazz. And then VJ Edgecombe and Trey Johnson slip a little bit to number 6 and 7. So what's the plan for this offseason? I think for now, at least, we're going to ride it out with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Assuming Kyrie Irving is brought back, he is on the player option. Derek Lively, of course, is a good young piece as well. Another Duke guy. A lot of Duke guys on this team. As Kyrie declines his player option, since we are not going to be able to afford anyone else, the goal is going to be to re-sign Kyrie Irving, to try to go into next year with this core, but fix the roster a little bit because I think there are ways we can make this better, being somewhat realistic. So we're going to start by offering Kyrie, 33 years old. I think he's got a little bit left in the tank, assuming the ACL tear doesn't prove to really hurt him, which, I mean, he's a 33-year-old smaller guard. It very well could. But we do kind of have a logjam in terms of bigs. There have been some reports about a Daniel Gafford trade. And with Cooper Flagg in the fold, I would think P.J. Washington becomes expendable. Outside of the Lakers pick from the Luka trade, we don't really have a ton of draft capital to potentially move off of. But I wouldn't mind adding another guard, especially because Kyrie Irving is out. This team needs another shot maker. I put Gafford and Washington in the trade finder. We could get Andrew Nembhard and Jarris Walker from the Pacers. This would be a home run trade. I want to be at least a little realistic for this first year. The Pacers wouldn't do that. So I come across Keon Ellis with Sacramento. He's what I'm looking for, and we can potentially get a guy like Keegan Murray as well. That trade wouldn't be realistic, but this one I think is a lot more fair. Would the Kings do this? Probably not. They don't really need a 5. Daniel Gafford doesn't really fit on their roster. But I'm not going to be overly strict about realism. I'm more so focused on being at least fair in terms of value. And I think given that Keegan Murray had kind of a down year last year, both him and Keon Ellis are expiring, it's kind of fair. I wanted to add another scoring guard, though. I originally looked at Anthony Simons. I think I'm going to go with Colin Sexton, though. He's also expiring, but he's coming off a really strong season with the Jazz. Nearly 50, 40, 90 on a team who obviously didn't really have a lot of offensive weapons. I'm trying to make P.J. Washington the main piece of this deal. This isn't happening, though, even with Caleb Martin and Max Prosper being added to the deal. I included Dwight Powell. Unfortunately, they're still going to say no. I didn't really want to include Jaden Hardy, but he's kind of redundant with Colin Sexton, and they finally say yes. I was not going to give up more than that. So we gave up a lot, some young pieces with Hardy and Max Prosper, but I think we'll survive without them. I do want to add a little bit of depth in free agency. I wouldn't mind adding another 5 since we just traded away Daniel Gafford. So we're going to look at B-Ball Paul, and then Cameron Payne as another backup guard. It would take a little bit, but Payne would accept, B-Ball would as well, but we don't have enough money for him, so we're going to settle for Duop Reef instead, and he would take our deal. So I like where this roster is going into the year, with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis as the top, Cooper Flagg as the franchise player, and then Colin Sexton, Keon Ellis, and Keegan Murray joining the fold. We're able to keep Najee Marshall. We keep Klay Thompson, who didn't regress that much. We keep Max Christie. Anthony Davis goes down by 2, and Kyrie Irving doesn't go down at all. I would honestly say that's kind of a win. Now, again, we're not going to have Kyrie Irving until probably February at the earliest. I did give him the injury, the torn left ACL. So we're going to have Colin Sexton and Keon Ellis share the backcourt for now with Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. That is a nasty defensive group in the front court, and Keon Ellis as well. Colin Sexton's not a great defender, but then the other 4, this should be one of the better defensive units in the league. Even at the bench, defense is a little bit shaky. So at the trade deadline, it's clear this team is pretty good. 33-19. Kyrie Irving is just starting to come back into the fold. With Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper joining the West, this conference is scarier than ever. Minnesota, San Antonio, and OKC are at the top. We're competing with Golden State for the number 5 seed. Kyrie Irving has just come back. He's played 2 games with us. The biggest story of the year, though, is Colin Sexton. My God, has he been good. 21 a game on 52, 40, 90 shooting. Anthony Davis' scoring numbers are low, but he's been good defensively, and Cooper Flagg has been pretty solid as well. Keegan Murray's also been a good addition. He's shooting 40% from 3. So in terms of contracts, the guys we acquired are expiring. We have to bring back Colin Sexton. He's been so good, and we're able to extend him. We can't pay Keegan Murray yet, so maybe I want to trade him, but I'm definitely not opposed to keeping him with how well he's shooting the ball. So I couldn't trade Keegan Murray, but I found this instead. Najee Marshall and Kessler Edwards to the Thunder for Aaron Wiggins and a couple of second-rounders. Wiggins has had a lesser role in the OKC rotation, but he's on a really team-friendly contract, shooting 44% from deep. The Thunder get an enforcer, while we get, in my opinion, a substantial upgrade in Aaron Wiggins, who I think is going to give the second unit some more spacing, a guy who can guard multiple positions if needed. So we're actually going to move Colin Sexton to the bench. I know he's playing really well, but I think it makes sense to have him be the lead shot creator, running with the 2s, and we have Keon Ellis still in the starting lineup. He can guard whoever the best player on the perimeter is, so he'll share the backcourt with Kyrie, and Colin Sexton basically gets the bench offense to himself. So I think his scoring numbers could go up if all goes well. Jokic wins the MVP, no major surprise. The Rookie of the Year ends up being our guy Cooper Flagg. 16, 7, 4.5, really shot the 3-ball well in the second half of the year. 55% true shooting, estimated wins added at around 11. So if the true shooting goes up, I mean, we're looking at a really impactful 2-way player. Simon, 6th man of the year, ironic because we almost traded for him. Cade averaged what? Nearly 33 a game on 67.5 true shooting and 26 estimated wins added. Holy cow. Luka All-NBA first team, but what a year from Cade. He should have won the MVP. If Cade puts up those numbers this year, I will be insufferable as we end up finishing as the 4 seed, maybe the best 4 seed ever at 58-24. It's clearly a 4-team conference. We're going to play Golden State in the first round. I'd like to think that we should win that series in probably 5 games. We're 13 games ahead of them. It is going to be a dogfight in the second round and beyond. As the Knicks, meanwhile, end as the number 1 seed in the East. The Raptors are the number 2 seed. That's an interesting one. They usually do quite well in this game, though. Kyrie Irving played well once he got back. He was really efficient. Colin Sexton continued to produce. I upped Anthony Davis' shot tendency. He was good offensively here in the second half. And then, of course, we saw Cooper Flagg's numbers. So we know who we're playing against. It's Golden State. As I said, it's a 4-team conference, really. The Warriors still have Steph Curry, who is still very, very good. Jimmy Butler is only an 85 overall, though. And while they have added John Collins, this team does not scare me that much. I think this Mavericks team is quite a bit better, and we're taking care of business. Up 3-0, bring out the brooms. Minnesota nearly lost, though. They needed 7 to get by the 8th-seeded Rockets, but it is the top 4 seeds, as we expected, and now it's going to be a dogfight. 4 teams of at least 58 wins. Ant-Man averaged 32.5 a night, while the rest of the roster is pretty much the same, although they did get a big leap in development for Rob Dillingham. They're good. They're real good. I'm a lot more worried about this matchup, although we split the first 2 games, but now we're starting to struggle, and we lose in 5. It kind of sucks. Who won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP? What in the world? Minnesota wins the championship. Julius Randle averaged 30. What is going on in this sim? As I was trying to say, I think the timing of that loss is unfortunate because this year really might be our best chance. AD and Kyrie are going to regress. The Spurs and the Thunder are just going to get better and better. Klay Thompson retired. That kind of sucks. He shot 45% from 3, the best mark of his career. He was really good. I was hoping to have him back next year, so unfortunately that will not be the case. 2026 draft lottery. There you go. The Thunder have number 2 and number 5. So this team is about to become scary good, along with the Spurs once Dylan Harper develops. So we do have 2 picks. We drafted Isaiah Evans in the first round, Cooper Flagg's former Duke teammate, and then we picked Xavier Booker in the second round with the 58th overall pick. The Knicks at number 1 add AJ Debanta. They were the number 1 seed, and they get the number 1 pick. The Thunder get Cam Boozer and Elijah Arenas, while my glorious king, my Pookie Bear, my Lord and Savior, Darren Peterson, ends up in Charlotte. Poor guy. As for the player options, Luka declines, so he'll be in free agency. We had the chance to do the funniest thing ever. I don't think we'll be able to afford him, though. But I do think we need to make some pivots this offseason. This team was really good, but with AD at 33 years old and Kyrie at 34, I feel like last year was our chance to win it with those 2, and I feel like the window with those guys leading the charge is shut. I want to bring back Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. We don't have bird rights on Ellis, so unfortunately we're going to lose him. We do bring back Keegan Murray. We paid him a lot of money, but we'll be able to use him as a tradable salary down the line. So in terms of AD and Kyrie, I think Anthony Davis is going to regress quicker. And the trade I found is with New Orleans. Zion Williamson and Trey Johnson. Now, Trey Johnson being included in this feels like a complete fleece. And I still want to be somewhat fair. I think for where the Pelicans' timeline is, I think Herb Jones would be a little bit more fair. They're not willing to do it, though, so I'm going to throw in Max Christie. I think he's expendable for a guy like Herb Jones, who probably makes more sense for us anyway. I added campaign, I added him some seconds, and we agree to it. So the reason why I picked that trade, I know Anthony Davis would never play in New Orleans again, but as I said earlier, I'm more focused on making fair value trades for us. And I think Zion Williamson and Cooper Flagg are going to pair really nicely because Zion can be the hub of the offense, the guy who commands the ball. Cooper Flagg, meanwhile, doesn't need the ball. That's what makes him such a good prospect on offense is that he's not necessarily ball dominant. He can be really effective without the ball. And obviously, he's a great defender. He's going to cover up many of the weaknesses that Zion has on that end of the floor. The defense certainly got a lot worse going from AD to Zion. But I think the offense is going to get a lot better. We ended up signing Jeff Doughton as backcourt depth. I wanted to sign Carlo Matkovic in the front court. He's a 79, so he'd be a good addition. Unfortunately, we don't have enough money, so I then pivoted for Yusuf Nurkic, who's certainly not great, but he'll do the job. He ended up signing with the Spurs, though. Third time's the charm, maybe. We'll try Rashawn Holmes, and ultimately he would end up saying yes. So we have our team pretty much set up, I think, for Season 3. The Duke Mavericks. Free agency ended up being really funny, though. LeBron is a Bull. Kevin Durant replaces him on the Lakers. Trae Young was traded to the Pacers earlier in the year. Him and Tyrese Halliburton would be a really funny pairing because, I mean, if they beat the Knicks in a playoff series, I think New York City might legitimately be burnt down. Kyrie only goes down by 1. Honestly, could have been a lot worse. He's a 91, Zion's a 91, and Cooper Flagg goes up 5. That's a big one. He's an 87, and Derek Lively is an 85. Although, for whatever reason, Derek Lively hates us, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I kind of get it. If I was Derek Lively and my team traded away Luka Doncic, I would hate my team as well, because Luka Doncic was going to make Derek Lively a lot of money. So I'd be pissed as well. I kind of get it. But it sucks for us because we kind of need him to be good. This is what the lineup looks like. Herb Jones, of course, sliding in at the 2. We're going to keep Colin Sexton off the bench. Our bench scoring should be really strong with Sexton, Keegan Murray spacing the floor as well. We're not super deep after 8 behind Aaron Wiggins, but I think this will be a good 8-man playoff rotation. Although the team has been kind of mediocre. We're only 27 and 23. Granted, that is 5th place. The West is not that good, though. It's Minnesota and everybody else. The biggest problem I noticed is that we had the worst defense in the league. Nobody allows more points than the Mavericks. The offense has been great. Kyrie's numbers are ridiculous. 56% from the field as a guard. Zion's hooping. Cooper Flagg's taken the leap. Derek Lively's taken a leap. Colin Sexton's been worse, but he's still been good. I would think the rim protection's been the problem. We are not good in that area. And the big weak link for us has been Herb Jones. He's been just awful. We have to get rid of him. And we've got to add some size, clearly. Brandon Clark was my first choice. I tried to make something work here with the Grizzlies. They're a championship contender. So I ended up settling for Clint Capella. I know it's not the greatest, but he's a lob threat. He's a good interior defender. He can protect the rim. And then TJ McConnell's honestly a solid little throw and a gritty guard who plays good defense. Obviously, that's the weakness with this team. So I think we get a little bit better. Colin Sexton slides to the starting lineup for now. But I'm kind of thinking about this big lineup with Cooper Flagg at the 2 and then Keegan Murray at the 3. That'd be kind of wild. I think Coop would be versatile enough defensively to be able to match up with 2 guards. The one thing is that it kind of limits his overall impact because he's so versatile on that end of the floor and he's not going to be switching on to as many bigs. So Giannis ends up winning the MVP in Milwaukee. Another great season for the Greek Freak. AJ Debinson wins the Rookie of the Year in New York. Cameron Boozer wins the 6th Man of the Year in Oklahoma City. Once he becomes good, that team's going to be nuts. Cayman Malawach, Most Improved. Cade Cunningham, Clutch Player of the Year again. My GOAT strikes once more. Luka with another great year. You know, maybe you shouldn't have traded him, Nico. Cooper Flagg, All-NBA second team, though. Now, if the Mavericks don't trade Luka, they probably would have never gotten Cooper Flagg. One, because of just the natural butterfly effect, but also the conspiracy that would be that the NBA gave the Mavericks this pick for making that trade, which I honestly think is pretty possible. 43 and 39, we barely make it into the playoffs as the number 6 seed. We really didn't play that well throughout the course of the year, which is unfortunate because I think this team is a little bit better than the one that we had last year. If not, it's certainly close. The Bucks, meanwhile, the number 1 seed. Minnesota won the title last year. It feels like they're pretty clearly the team to beat again. I mean, if Julius Randle can average 30 in the finals, who knows? So we've got the Nuggets here in the first round. They've still got Jokic, who's still very good. DeJounte Murray, Christian Brown, and Herb Jones might be the most fierce 1-2-3 perimeter defense group off the bench I've ever seen. How is a bench unit supposed to score? Oh, hell no. 147? What is wrong with this defense? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, we allowed 160 in a playoff game. That's like 200 points in regular season terms. Aaron Gordon made 10 threes. Jamal Murray had 28. Jokic did, Jokic stuff. They got 100 shots off, so maybe it's just the pace is super fast. Kyrie had 46. Zion had 32. Cooper Flagg nearly had a triple-double. But we allowed 160, so who cares? We win Game 3 and Game 4. We might be back. Okay, maybe not. We lose Game 5 and we lose Game 6. So we get first rounded. The defense was abysmal. This makes me think the addition of Zion Williamson might have been a mistake. As the Wolves win again, they lost 4 games the entire postseason. A lot of retirements, holy cow. But back to the Zion thing, he was really good in terms of his numbers, but the defense fell off substantially. And I would think replacing Anthony Davis with him was probably much of the reason why, as the Bulls end up winning the lottery. We don't have any picks this year, but we're going to have more pick flexibility coming soon. We still have the Laker pick. We'll be able to trade some of our future first-rounders going forward. And as I said, Zion could be a casualty given his defensive, issues. But he's not the only guy whose future is in question. The rest of the Duke Mavericks, other than Cooper Flagg, they're not safe. Derek Lively is a free agent, and he doesn't want to be here. Granted, he is restricted. And then Kyrie Irving is 35. And as good as he was last year, he's going to start to regress. So I put him in the trade finder. There were some good offers. I really thought about Jalen Brunson, but I decided to go with Bam Adebayo, given that the defense is just such a weakness for us, and Bam has played really well in this video offensively. I don't love trading Aaron Wiggins, but we're getting a really good young replacement. I'm pretty sure this would be Tunde Yesufu, who has a different name in the game for some reason. But Bam Adebayo and Cooper Flagg should both perfectly mask the issues that Zion brings defensively. Bam can guard pretty much the 1 through the 5. I don't really know how it's going to work having 4 bigs essentially as our 4 best players, but we'll figure it out. We, of course, did not have any rookies this year. That'll bring us into free agency. Cooper Flagg has a team option that we will obviously say yes to. Giannis, Jokic, Towns, Jalen Green all decline. Jalen Green, unironically, will be a really good fit for this team, given that he's a 92. We don't have the money for it, but if I could, I 100% would, which is sort of funny, but it's true. As for Derek Lively, he does not want to play here, but he's restricted, so he might not have a choice. And overall, this team definitely needs more depth. I think Tunde Yesufu could be a sleeper pickup for us, given that he's only 21 years old, as I ended up editing his name to be accurate. But I think he's a guy to watch out for, but he's not enough. So we start with Bobby Klintman, two-way forward, can guard multiple positions. Derek Lively never ended up getting signed, though, so we're going to be able to bring him back with the qualifying offer. Jokic hasn't signed anywhere either, which is kind of weird. So Derek Lively is back, whether he wants to be or not. Where is Jokic, though? Towns goes to the Warriors. Josh Giddey goes to the Knicks. Jokic goes to the Raptors for $5 million. Okay, why does he want so little? Zion goes down by 2. That's concerning. Cooper goes up by 2. I was hoping for a little bit more. But Tunde Yesufu, plus 5. I'm telling you, he's going to be quite good, I think. Probably as our first or second guy off the bench for now. So remember that all-big lineup I kind of suggested earlier? Well, we're going to try it with Flagg at the 2, Zion at the 3, and Bam and Lively in the front court. We will be setting basketball back by about 100 years with this spacing. But we should have plenty of guys who can finish around the basket, and I would hope the defense is going to be a lot better. Well, the team clearly still has issues. We are only 20-21. That's under 500. We're the 8th seed in the West. The defense has been a little better, I guess, but it's still bad. We're first in field goal percentage, which is not a surprise. We're dead last in three-pointers, which is also not a surprise. So I look to see who's struggling defensively, and Zion really hasn't been that bad. And on offense, he's been great. So I don't think he's actually the problem. I think it might be Derek Lively. He's been a little mediocre defensively, and he doesn't want to be here. His numbers look good. Playmaking's gone up, points, rebounds, career high. But we can't trade him yet. We have to wait like a week. So we simulate the next couple of days. Since he's unrestricted, oh my God, he's hurt. Well, that's just great. So I know this is technically cheating. But in real life, teams trade injured players. It happens. I don't know why you can't do it in 2K. So I took his injury off because that's fair. And then we're going to look for a trade for him because he's not going to re-sign with us. I don't think he's been that good to begin with. We have some picks we can play around with, so I think we can finally start to make some noise if we really want to do something. So I put D-Live and the 2 1s in the trade finder. This should get us some good deals. Apparently not. Tijan Salon would be the centerpiece of that deal. I'm not interested. I want to add somebody for the backcourt, though, because our lineup is too big. We need another guard. And in terms of estimated wins added for guys who are maybe underrated, Cam Thomas, I think, is an option. In terms of point guards, I think Devin Booker could work, Darius Garland. Tyrese Maxey, though, is the guy who's catching my eye. I've been wanting to get him since the start. I think in real life, Tyrese Maxey in Dallas would eventually make a lot of sense. He's from the area. This team is going to need a long-term shot maker once Kyrie Irving is gone. And I'm not sure Maxey fits with the Sixers long term, with Jared McCain, possibly another guard at number 3 overall, Quentin Grimes as well. I think he's going to eventually be the odd man out, and Dallas feels like a good landing spot. The problem is Derek Lively has waived his no-trade clause. So again, I don't want to cheat, but with Derek Lively obviously not wanting to be here, obviously he wouldn't waive the trade clause. He's from Philadelphia. Like Tyrese Maxey, we're sending him home. There's no reason why he would not want to do this. Now, it seems like we're going to have to give them a better deal. I wanted to get the maximum amount of value possible. I don't think we're going to be able to get that Clippers pick. We're going to have to send some of our first rounders. I don't really want to do it with Derek Lively and Keegan Murray in the deal, but if we have to do it, I'm game. We also got Adembona in the deal, so we're going to have another guy who can play the 5. And then we're going to trade Jeff Dalton and Xavier Booker to the Knicks for Darian Reed. He's not that good, but my thought is he can progress in the offseason and we can use him as a trade chip, or maybe he's good enough to just play. So Maxey, Sexton, Flagg, Zion, and Bam is the new look lineup. The bench isn't great. I am confident with Tunde Yesufu as the 6th man. Zion is about to be a free agent. He wants to come back, and he's proved me wrong. I would like for him to return, so we signed him to an extension. And now our core group, Bam, Zion, Maxey, and Sexton, is all under contract through Cooper Flagg's rookie contract, which is as long as we're going to go today, assuming Bam accepts his $59 million player option, which I would like to think he will. Victor Wembanyama ends up winning the MVP. Tyrone Stokes, hopefully the future Jayhawk Rookie of the Year. Tyron, if you're watching, I don't know why you would be, but you know the move, brother. Nick Smith, most improved in Sacramento. Cam Boozer won the 6th Man of the Year again. Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic on the All-NBA first team. That's a little ironic. Boozer on the second team coming off the bench. Okay. Cooper Flagg, all defensive second team. Love to see it, as that sets us up as the number 8 seed. So our moves at the trade deadline did not really help us. 38-44. The Warriors were the number 2 seed. That's a surprise. New Orleans is the 5 is a shock to me. I don't get why this team is bad. We have an All-NBA first team player in Cooper Flagg. We've got great defenders around the lineup. We have really good scoring in the backcourt. I really hope we win this game. I do not want to play the Spurs, and we might have to play the Spurs. Great. Elimination game against Sacramento. Their best player is Walker Kessler. And we lost to this team. We got gamed by Nick Smith Jr. Okay, if we can't even beat the Kings in the play-in, we do not deserve to be here. The Pelicans in the finals against the Hornets. That's kind of a funny matchup. Anthony Davis giving New Orleans some strong production. I don't think it was a bad trade in hindsight, though, even though his defense is obviously so valuable. Trey Johnson's an 88. Damn, maybe we should have just taken the opportunity to get him when we could have. Hornets win the finals. Ace Bailey wins the finals MVP. So Cooper's got to have a chip on his shoulder. One of the guys drafted after him, and Ace Bailey, dragged a horrible franchise in Charlotte to a title in his 3rd year. We do have a first rounder. We're going to pick Gene. I think the idea is that we're probably going to use him as trade bait at some point, as that brings us to likely the final offseason of the day. Bam declines his player option. I am kind of surprised by that, and given that he's the only player here, I'm worried this free agency class is not great. Okay, maybe it is pretty good. Jokic and friends are here. But we've got to prioritize Bam. We need his defense on our team. It seems like we're the only big offer. And he does accept, which is very good news. I want to add some more depth, though. I was surprised to see Alex Caravan here. Can shoot, can guard multiple positions. I think he'd be a good fit for us. I want to offer him a little bit more because he's restricted. I want to make sure we get him, and we do. Great. I do want to add another big. We're going to offer Mo Bamba the minimum. He says yes. Zach Edey's an 88. In what world? Nikola Jokic and Ja Morant are going to pair up in Memphis. That is one of the duos of all time. I wonder how they would get along. Cooper Flagg is a 91. Tunde Yesufu is an 85. Holy moly. And he had a great year last year. He should be even better this year. Darian Reed, meanwhile, a 78. So I'm making what I think is our final super big trade. And I think this is going to be the deal that wins it for us. I'm not making this trade for Jalen Brunson. I'm making it for Josh Giddey. And I know it seems a little weird, but ever since he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, he's been a target of mine because he always plays really well in this game for his rating. Jalen Brunson's a good addition as well, though, given how well he can score the basketball. We have to trade Zion. We have to trade Colin Sexton, which is sad because he's been around the whole time, and I felt like Zion was really playing well. Sorry, Mo Bamba, you're not sticking around. We're trading him and Bobby Clintman to the Wizards for Clint Capella. I mean, he just plays above his rating in this game. And then we got another young kid, Hugo, who I think could be used as potential trade bait. So this is going to be the lineup. Maxey's going to come off the bench. Brunson, Giddey, Yesufu, Flagg, and Bam will be the starting five. I think this group complements each other really well. And then with Maxey's scoring, Capella's rim protection, and then the versatility from Caravan and Hugo, I think this team is set up nicely. Our schedule's kind of weird, though. I assume this would be a Tuesday. Why do we only play road games on Tuesday? That's sort of weird. It didn't take long for me to realize that this team is quite good. 32-19, fourth place in the West. I'm a little disappointed, though, because we were like 15-3 at one point. So we kind of hit the wall after a hot start. The Suns are the number one seed. Where do they come from? RJ Barrett, who they just traded for, is their best player. What? RJ Barrett, number one option hoops, is leading the number one seed in the West. Okay, man. I think our struggles are largely attributed to Josh Giddey breaking his leg, and our team is banged up right now. Caravan's hurt. Cooper Flagg is recovering from a hip. And we've made it to the trade deadline. This is our last chance for the video and Cooper Flagg's rookie deal to make a big move. Our defense is third worst in the league. We do have the number one offense. Clearly, we have to be like the fastest-paced team in the league because our defense can't be that bad. In terms of shooting percentages for the opponents, we're below average, but it's not like awful. There isn't really a big move for this team to make, but I want to add some role players. We're going to go to the Cavs. We're going to add Bryce Sensabaugh and Gary Trent. Both of these guys can shoot the three. They're not great defensively, but you can put them in the corner, give space into the other guys, more room for someone like Tyrese Maxey to work with. And I think this team is set up nicely. Now, Sensabaugh is going to start in place of Josh Giddey for now, who's hurt. That way, Maxey can continue to lead the second unit. But once Giddey's back, I actually think this team projects pretty well for the playoffs. Just knock on wood that we stay healthy. I re-signed Tyrese Maxey. I know it's the last season, but I want to keep him happy for the playoffs. Bryson Tiller, Rock Chalk, 6th man of the year. I don't know why it says he's going to Auburn. Shout out, future Kansas legend. Tyrese Maxey got snubbed, though. He was a top 10 scorer in the league. How is he not the 6th man of the year? That does not make sense to me. Luka and Cooper Flagg, All-NBA first team once again. Cooper was our only All-NBA player. He makes the All-Defensive first team as well. I can't be the only one who saw that Ace Bailey is a 95. My God. 49-33. Pretty good. I'm a little disappointed still, though, because after the deadline, we were actually in first place for quite some time, but we've lost 5 in a row. We're not playing very well. And we've got the Suns in the first round, which will be awfully interesting because I think their roster on paper is far worse than ours, but clearly they had the magic touch in this game. I don't know why. Maxey led us in scoring. That's why he was such a good fit off the bench. I really like him in that spot. Flagg had a good year. Brunson over 20 as well. Tonde Yesufu played really well. So it's going to be an 8-man rotation for the playoffs. Same starting 5 that we've been rolling with. And then I think the bench sets up nicely. Maxey is the shot maker. Capella is the rim protector. Sensabaugh is the 3-and-D catch-and-shoot guy. So let's take a look at the Suns. RJ Barrett, Caleb Wilson, Jalen Wells. That's their group. RJ's averaging 27 since the All-Star break. Now, I will say they have a well-rounded roster around him, but they don't really have depth, especially at the guard spots. They do not have any guard depth. Tyrese Maxey should average 30 on these fools. So let's get to simulating. We win the first game. We lose the second game. We lose the third game. Uh-oh. All right, we win the fourth. We win the fifth. And we win in 6. Okay, so the Spurs lost! Wow. Now, it's probably because Victor Wembanyama's hurt, clearly. But this team is Devin Booker and Castle and Harper. This team is nuts. They have Florian Big Dog starting at center. I assume that's supposed to be Flory Bidunga, another Jayhawk legend. How did they lose to this team? Karl Anthony Towns and Darius Garland coming off the bench. How did this team beat the Spurs? Victor Wembanyama was healthy for most of the series. He got injured in Game 4. The Warriors beat them in Games 2 and 3. Why couldn't we do this in the actual Warriors series, for Christ's sakes? We should mop the floor with this team, though, as we lose Game 1 by 1. Okay, we win Game 2. Love to see it. Win Game 3. Lose Game 4. That's not ideal. The other series is really close as well. So I think we're going to simcast Game 5. This feels like a really important matchup for us. Very close. down to the wire. We had the edge, and we would end up pulling away late. 41 for Cooper Flagg. We'll see if we can shut the door here in Game 6. We had the edge early. The Warriors are going to battle back, take the lead, and they're going to run away with it in the fourth. Maxey with 22. Cooper Flagg, in what could have been a go-ahead win, goes 4 for 12. And then this dude, Cameron Holmes, who is this? 37. He's like a 79 overall. He wouldn't play for us. Now it's Game 7, do or die, and it is neck and neck. We had the slight edge. Now they're ahead. Our offense is struggling in the fourth. We're going to hop in right here. Garland misses inside for the tie, and we can make it a 2-score game. Maxey in isolation. He's going to look to send it up to the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Flagg. Biggest possession of the year, and Clint Capella has the ball beyond the three-point line with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Dribble handoff for Flagg. Drives to the left, and it's no good! Cooper, make the layup! Here comes Golden State. They can tie or take the lead. Jasper Johnson inside, no good. Cooper Flagg with the deflection. Maxey playing good defense as well. Flagg runs the floor. Look at this matchup with Garland. Oh, man, it's lunchtime. What are you doing? Garland is like 6'1". Post up on him. Why are you shooting fadeaway threes? Garland is wide open, drills the triple. I mean, an all-time bag fumble by Cooper Flagg. 20 seconds into the shot clock to heave up a 30-foot fadeaway three when he has the obvious mismatch. Flagg misses again inside. He is selling the bag. Warriors up. They've got the ball with a minute left. Michael Porter Jr. with it in the corner. He gets it up. Warriors spreading it around. Darius Garland now matched up with Jalen Brunson. His second stint in Dallas. Bam's got to help quicker on that. I get Brunson lost his footing. Bam's got to recognize that. He's a great defender. He should have made that play. 3-point game. Flagg all the way. Gets fouled. At least he gets to the line this time. Chris Sinak fouls him, and Cooper would make them both. 107-106. Biggest possession of the year with 40 seconds left. Garland, crossover, loses it. That's our ball, ain't it? That's our ball! So we're going to force the turnover. We're going to get it with 40. Cooper Flagg has not been good down the stretch. But who else do we want taking the shots? This is quite literally his video. On the drive, layup is good! A grown man finish all over Sinak. Cooper Flagg running backwards. He is quite talented, as you can see. And the Warriors are going to get it back. Shot and game clock pretty much even. Do they go for the 3? Do they go for the 2? I mean, they're only down by 1. They should go for the 2. Garland's wide open, though, but he misses it. Yesufu with the rebound. He is fouled. That's as good of a look as you can ask for Darius Garland, as Chris Sinak is fouled out of the game. And Tunde Yesufu will go to the line to shoot 2. He was a throw-in the Bam Adebayo trade, but a guy who's ended up becoming a key cog for our team. He's a starter at the 3, and now he's got the 2 biggest free throws of the video with 15.4 seconds. First one, nothing but net. It's a 2-point game. Warriors are out of timeout, so they're going to have to go regardless. Second shot rattles out. Michael Porter Jr. with the rebound, and this is it. 2 ties it, 3 takes the lead. Garland with it. Does he go for the tie? Does he go for the lead? He's matched up with Flagg. That's not a favorable matchup. Drives in anyway. Pull-up jumper. No good. Yesufu with the board, and he is fouled late. And we are in position to win this game. That was, again, a pretty good look for Darius Garland. He did a good job of getting himself open, but he's got to make those shots. Yesufu sinks the first at the line. Second one pretty much ends the game, and it is good. Drains them both with 1.6. This one is over. The Mavericks survive, and for the first time in Cooper Flagg's career, we're going to the Western Conference Finals. We need 7 to beat the 8-seeded Golden State Warriors, who I clearly underestimated. I mean, these guys did beat the Spurs in the first round. Wemby or not, that team is loaded. 29 for Flagg, leading the charge. And we'll be playing Oklahoma City, who we have not seen in the playoffs yet, believe it or not. I'm quite scared. This team is really good. Shea's a 99, Chet's a 93. They have Cam Boozer, Elijah Arenas, Mikal Brown. They're pretty deep. This is going to be a dogfight. 2 very, very good teams as we win the first, lose the second one by a couple, win the third, lose the fourth, and we're going to simcast the rest of the way again. That starts with Game 5, and we are mopping the floor. Not even close. No mercy We win by 44. We score 160. Is this just the fastest paced team alive? That has to be it. Maxey with 36. Everybody contributed. So that brings us into Game 6. OKC up, and it looks like they're going to run away with it. We actually made it close there late, but we lose by 5. Cooper Flagg got to shoot the ball more. I know he got to the line a lot. The young guys led the charge for OKC. Shea got hurt. Chet was a non-factor offensively, although he did have 6 blocks. Now it goes down to Game 7 again. OKC with the lead, but we would storm back, and I don't think we're going to need to hop in. We've got the edge. We win by 25 in a game that we trailed for a lot of. Maxey, 15 of 20, 43 points. 32-point triple-double. For Cooper Flagg, he wins the conference finals MVP. Giannis wins into the East. So this Bucks team is clearly good. They've lost 2 playoff games since the first round. They're the 3 seed. They're no slouch. But their second best player is Dalton Connect. Now, they've got some scary guys. Shaedon Sharpe, Jaden Quaitnance is a dog. But the Eastern Conference certainly is not the West. We're not playing OKC again. We win Game 1, and 2, and 3, going for the sweep. The West is just so much better, and it's so obvious with these two teams. I accidentally skipped through the end. We ended up winning the game. I wanted to see the trophy celebration. Unfortunately, we will not. Cooper Flagg, 29 points per game, wins the finals MVP. So we end up getting the job done. Certainly an interesting rebuild. The gloves were kind of off in terms of the realism down the stretch, but I wanted to get him a title. He played with so many superstars during his rookie contract as we get it done with Jalen Brunson, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Maxey, Tonda Yesufu, Josh Giddey, Clint Capella, and Bryce Sensabaugh as the group of 8. And other than Sensabaugh, everyone in that group should be back, assuming we re-sign Cooper Flagg in the offseason. So the Mavericks, theoretically, could run it back with this squad. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of the video down below in the comments. If there are any other off-season scenarios you want to see on NBA 2K, feel free to let me know. I might make it happen. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.